Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing the 2015 film Awaken, starring Natalie Byrne, Jason London, Vinnie Jones, and Michael Copon. An overview of the film: a woman looking for her missing sister finds herself on a mysterious and remote island surrounded by strangers. Little does she know, the owner of the island has the people there to harvest their organs. The pros of this movie? This movie had a great premise to it. The idea behind it was fantastic. That these people are stranded on this tropical island. They have to forage for their food, so they end up eating a lot of fresh and pure fruit, and they drink a lot of crystal clear filtered water. It's fantastic because that'll purify their bodies, and later on their organs will be harvested out of their bodies that have been purified by this healthy diet. It's great. I love that idea. Yes, the whole organ harvesting idea has been done many times before, but I've never seen it done in this fashion. And it was amazing, the idea behind it. The scenery. You actually felt like they were on a tropical island because they were on a tropical island. You had tropical plants all around. You had nice clear blue water everywhere to be seen. It was fantastic. They went all out on the scenery. It was great. There was a lot of solid acting in this movie too, considering its low budget. Especially from the primary antagonists, like Jason London and Vinnie Jones. They both played their roles very well, and it was fantastic, and I loved the acting that they did. They were quite believable in this movie. The quality of practical effects that they had, especially the blood squibs, was great. It was fantastic. Yeah, there weren't a lot of blood squibs. There weren't a lot of on-screen deaths because it was a low-budget movie and they just didn't have the money to do these things. But when they did them, they were fantastic and great, and I loved them. The cons of this movie? Well, a lot of the dialogue in this movie was just poorly written. You know, it wasn't like things people would actually say in real life. It was just things where they had to get this plot point across. So they said these things. It was completely unnatural, unbelievable, and it was clear that they just needed to get a point across for the sake of the plot. And for some reason, they thought that 44 days was the equivalent of 2 months. No, that's more like a month and a half, not 2 months. You're missing 2 weeks there, pal. And that was a point they kept driving home. They said at least 3 times in the movie, oh, you've been here 44 days? That's like 2 months. And it was just bad. A lot of the acting in this movie was also really stiff, especially from the protagonists, which is really weird considering how the antagonists were pretty strong in their acting. The protagonists were really stiff, especially the lead, Natalie Byrne. And her accent just kept going in and out and in and out. She's originally from, I believe, the Ukraine, but she's playing an American character, and her American accent just kept going in and out and in and out. And it really took me out of the movie. Also, a lot of these characters who were kidnapped and put on this island, they were, for lack of a better term, too clean. You know, like their hair would be styled perfectly, or they'd be clean shaven. Yet they've been on that island for 2 weeks and they had no access to hairstyling products or a razor. There was one guy who had been there for 44 days, yet his head and his face were clean shaven. No! You're going to have at least some sort of a beard and some sort of hair growth on your head if you've been trapped on an island for 44 freaking days. That is really insanely unrealistic. You won't have access to these shaving products. The fight scenes in this movie were pretty much atrocious. They just had way too many quick cuts. It was like, oh yeah, throw a punch and then reset and then attack from this as well. No, it made it hard to watch and hard to focus on, and it made the fight scenes unentertaining and boring and drab, and I hated that. Also, when someone got like hit in the head and they were supposed to have blood running down their face or something, the blood that they used, it looked like it was something someone bought from a party store. Like it was just Halloween makeup fake blood. It looked horrible. It looked like it was just painted on there. It was clearly makeup. No, you want to have it look like real blood. You failed in that regard. My biggest issue with this movie, though, Natalie Byrne, she played the lead role. She was one of the writers of this movie. She produced the movie, and she was in charge of casting. She clearly made that lead role for herself and then stuck herself in it. That is not a recipe for a good movie. That is a horrible practice to have. You don't want to have your lead with that many hats on during the production of your film. It's not going to end well. My favorite action scene of the movie? It would have to be the fight scene towards the end between the character of Sarge and the character of Stitch. Stitch is this guy who's kind of a military washout. He washed out of SIS and he's trying to prove that he is a real soldier. Whereas Sarge is more of like a mercenary type character and he's one of the antagonists. So the two of them are fighting while Stitch and the other people from the island are trying to escape. And it's a great fight scene. There's a lot of throws and punches and kicks and weapon use. It looks great. That's probably the scene with the least amount of quick cuts as well. I don't want to say too much about the fight scene because it is towards the end of the movie and I don't want to spoil it for you. My overall thoughts on this movie? It really comes across as someone making a movie for the sole purpose of padding their resume and adding a leading role to their film credits to try and boost their career more. Yes, it had its good points, and I understand that it's a low-budget movie. But that's no excuse for such poor writing and such blind favoritism in the casting. I have to give this movie one thumb down. It had its potential. It really just needed to be more specialized. It needed the people involved to be more specialized instead of wearing so many hats. And it really needed more just objective casting. I'm sorry, but if you're casting the movie, you have no business playing such a large role, such a large character in the movie. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel for new action movie reviews posted every Friday. Also, if you have any recommendations for movies you would like me to review in the future, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you. Have a nice day.